All right, we are on equations point 3, which is solving one-step equations. Now, for the first and only time, I'm going to tell you something to do just because I said so. And it's not necessarily that way, but I can't explain it to you until we get to the end of this chapter. So, for the first and only time, you must show your work, even though you can do it in your head. Okay, I know 99% of you are going to be able to figure these problems out, no problem, but you still have to show your work because I said so. So, what we are going to learn to do is solve these equations or find the variable without using mental math. Now, I know that you can look at the problem on the left and say x minus 3, x has to be 8, but I'm going to show you why it's 8 and show you how to show your work for that answer. So the first step to any of these problems is we're going to draw a line right through the equal sign. Think of that as a scale, okay, where anything on this side of the scale and this side of the scale have to remain balanced. So if we add in some numbers here, we have to add in the same amount of numbers over here to keep it balanced, okay? So we can get this to go away. So we are always trying to get x equals something. So we know that the number that's on the same side as this x is a negative 3. And we want to get rid of the negative 3. Well, we know the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. Okay, so that goes away. But the problem is we unbalanced the scale and we have to keep it balanced all the time. So if we added negative 3 or positive 3 over here, we have to add positive 3 over here. Because this went away, the only thing that's left on this side is x equals. And here 5 plus 3 is equal to 8, which is what we got before. Okay, you can easily check your answers by taking this x and plugging it back into the original equation. So you go 8 minus 3 equals 5, and that's a true statement, so we can check it like that. So for the second one, it's the same idea. We want to get rid of, in this time, the 2, because it's on the same thing as the b. But now we're not adding, we are multiplying. And so we have to do the opposite of multiplying by 2. Over here we did the opposite of negative 3. Now we have to do the opposite of multiplying by 2, which is dividing by 2. But to keep the scale balanced, we have to do the same thing on this side as well. Now, because we multiplied by 2 and divided by 2, those go away, and we're left with just b equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, if you ever do a step like this and you don't get rid of the thing in front of the b or the x or whatever, then you've made a mistake and you have to go back. In order to check our answer, we just simply go 2 times 3 is equal to 6. That's a true statement, so we can put our little check mark there. All right? So, same idea that we've been doing. We're going to draw a line down the equal sign, and we have to do the opposite of, and this time it's subtracting by 2. So the opposite of subtracting by 2 is adding 2. So we have to add 2 to both sides. Well, that goes away, and so we're left with y equals negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3, and that's our answer. So it's negative 3 minus 2 is equal to negative 5, and that's true. The one on the right is very similar, but now we have a multiplying by 4, so we have to do the opposite of multiplying by 4, which is dividing by 4. So we get x equals 4, and now we go back, so 4 times 4 is equal to 16, and that's true. Okay? So we're not changing much, just a little bit. So we now have a divided by 3, and so we have to do the opposite of dividing by 3, which is multiplying by 3. To keep the scale balanced, we got to multiply by 3 on both sides. And so a equals 9 times 3 is 27. So now we have 27 divided by 3 equals 9, and that is true, so we can check mark. Over here, now the x is in a different spot, but it doesn't actually change the problem. We now have 3 plus x equals 8. So we have to ask, what are the 3 and the x doing to each other? And it looks like they're adding, and they're adding a positive 3. So we have to subtract 3 to get rid of that. We're not going to put the 3 there. We're going to keep it under here. So we're going to subtract 3 as well. So we get x equals 5. And so then we get 3 plus 5 is equal to 8, and that is a true statement. Okay? Because I said so, you have to show the work just like I've been doing up here. Okay? So just copy straight along and show that work. Once you've done it for a little bit, it becomes second nature. And the reason why you have to do it this way is because for the next set of problems, you won't be able to do mental math to solve them. And so then you have to use this method. So we have to learn it the easier way now. I want you to try these on your own. See what you get. Okay, for this one, I end up getting x equals 5 because we added 3 to both sides. This one we divided by 2 on both, and so I got y equals negative 2. Here I multiplied by 3 on both, and I got c equals negative 12. And here I subtracted by 6 on both, and I got y equals 4. Okay? If you have questions, and some of you definitely will, make sure you ask me. I'll help you work through them. This will take a little bit of time to get comfortable with. But once you do it, you know, students who have had me before, this is one of their favorite topics because once you're able to do this type of section, you can do everything. It doesn't really change. All right?